Hey everyone, this is Mike and today we are back in Closers Online, as earlier this morning a new character, Eunha, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, was released. This is the new Knives class that was teased a couple of days ago, and then this morning we could finally play her. Now, at first when I saw some gameplay of her, when I saw some pictures, she immediately reminded me of Sylvie, the caster class, because they both use knives. Like Sylvie also uses knives, but she's more of a telekinesis user, because she also likes to throw buses and trains at people, and Eunha doesn't really do that at all. She basically only really uses her knives. Now, when I first started playing her, she felt really bad to play for a couple of reasons. Main reason being that she didn't really have that many skills to use when you first get access to her, because one of her three basic abilities has a very long cooldown, FM1 also has a very long cooldown, and her V skill is not a traditional skill that you can just press and use, but is actually more of a combo action on already existing abilities. Now, as you level her up, as you get more abilities, as you get more master cubes, because those are very important, she actually starts to feel really good and also really interesting to play, because she's not a phase roll character. Some characters in Closers are just phase roll your keyboard and damage will happen. You don't really have to pay attention to buffs that you are applying to yourself or anything like that. You just press buttons and you'll most likely be good to go. With Eunha, on the other hand, you actually have set combos that you have to kind of follow along, and you have to use those skills in particular orders, which I think is really cool. So the way it works is mainly around this V skill. So as I said, it's not a traditional skill that you just press and things happen, but the way it works is when you unlock the master cubes of 3 of your basic abilities, they will actually combo into the V skill, which is really cool. Now, you don't necessarily have to immediately use the V skill itself, you can just let it sit there for a little bit, but you do need to use it before you use another one of those basic abilities that would combo into it, because then you would override your V skill, and that's bad for a couple of reasons. First of all, every time you use the V skill, you get a stacking damage buff, so you want to use it as much as possible. And the second reason is that there are 2 abilities that when you proc them and you then use the V skill, will also proc an enhanced basic attack that does a crap load of damage. So you want to be using that as much as possible. Together with this V skill, the basic attack only has 1 stack that you can have on it. So it's not like you'll be able to use it multiple times in a row. So it's basically use the basic ability, which will then combo into the V skill. You use the V skill to get not only the stacking damage buff, but also the enhanced basic attack. And then you use the enhanced basic attack before you basically do something else with it. So pretty cool combo system. You need to know how many buffs you have, whether or not your V skill has been procced, yes or no. And then you basically combo into each other from there, which is really fun to play. Because of course, sometimes just face rolling your keyboard and seeing damage numbers pop up can be pretty fun, but I really am a lot more excited about playing a character where I need to think a little bit more, where I'm pressing buttons in certain sequences to basically make stuff happen. I'll also have a little sequence on the back where I'm showing off these 3 different ability combos, so to speak, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about right there. So one of them is just a combo into the V skill to just stack up the damage, because it has a relatively short cooldown, so you can stack up that damage buff really quickly. And then the other 2 that you have will also grant you that enhanced basic attack, which again you need to use before getting the second one active, because it doesn't stack. You can only have 1 available at a time. So pretty fun to play. I went and leveled her all the way up to 80 because I was like 79 by the time that I unlocked the master cube of the 3rd ability that would proc the V skill, so I was like, might as well get to 80 and try her out in some endgame content as well. Well, I guess purification isn't really endgame content anymore, but she's pretty good in there. I don't know exactly all of her iframes. I know about 3 of them. Well, I guess 4 if you take cancel into account as well. But she feels pretty good. The iframes that she does have, you have a short one, you have 2 really long ones, because the FM2 has a very long iframe duration, which is really nice for some attacks. But overall, I think she feels pretty good to play. Definitely looking forward to getting my hands on the special agent version of her. I know that the Rata's special agent is called something different. I think it's called Revenant or something like that. But basically, I'm looking forward to getting a hold of the other skills of her as well, see how that impacts her gameplay. I played around the awakened moves as well, because I did get the purification gear from just leveling all the way to 80. I believe at level 75 you get access to the purification gear. So I did get to play with her 2 awakened skills, which do feel pretty nice. Her token skill feels really strong, because it's like a damage over time effect that it applies. Which feels really cool to play, because it doesn't take that much time to activate it, but it does do a whole lot of damage over time. So really cool to see that right there. And the rest of her skills just feel really good. She has some forced ground attacks. Like for example, every time that you use the enhanced basic attack, you are forced onto the ground. So if you have to stay into the air, don't use that, because otherwise that might get you killed. But you do have a dash attack that has like 5 stacks, I believe, so that will be able to get you back into the air relatively easily as well. Or if you have to reposition in a boss fight, you can use that skill as well. So I do think that her skill kit feels pretty good to play. It feels really cohesive, and I'm definitely curious to see what the special agent version of her is going to add to that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Eunha, she's available on the Korean server for now. When she's gonna come to the NA server, I have no idea. We're still waiting on news of when Mirai, the first Ratas character, is going to come out. My best guess would be that she's coming later this year, around September, something like that, because I did take a look at the roadmap for the NA server, and she wasn't on there yet, but that was only going until August. So hopefully September, maybe something around that time, we'll see Mirai appear, and then hopefully sometime later down the line we'll get Chilsu and Eunha as well, because they are all very fun characters to play, and I am looking forward to leveling them all up as well and adding them to my collection, so to speak. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for today. If you're looking forward to Eunha as well, if you've played her on the Korean server as well, let me know what you think of her. I'm definitely enjoying her so far, but I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.